Sims 4 Adventure Awaits now was just released, but I'm afraid that it already has bug forums that are filling to the brim. This includes bugs for core gameplay and of course visual glitches and CAS and build buy-in, pretty much anything you can think of. Now I will say this is probably not the worst launch for a pack ever. However, this is still pretty disappointing because I feel like this team has produced some pretty decent packs. So first, we're going to start off with some oversights and then we're going to just get into the bugs. Horses are not included in the list of activities. The curtains in this new pack are literally a recolor of For Rent, yet they couldn't be bothered to give us the matching beam that already exists too. This kind of oversight and missing items is getting ever more frustrating, amplified by the reuse of assets. And now, these are what I would consider more serious oversights in terms of gameplay and functionality. Mentioned in my review, but it's so annoying how multitasking is just not a thing with the new fitness equipment. If your sim gets in a conversation while working out with the dumbbells or bike, they will just stop working out. Do get some new bathroom items in Sims 4 Adventure Awaits. Despite getting those new bathroom items, it is a little bit strange because they don't really match, and also there is no new toilet. Now honestly, I feel like we had tons of toilets in Sims 4. However, I do have to consider that for some people this could be their first pack, and if it's the first pack for some people, it probably should have come with a toilet. This not matching is honestly just straight up bizarre. Not saying this is the most serious issues in the pack, we're going to get into that in just a moment, but I did want to have a little section about just general oversights. Again, I understand the team can't catch everything, but I do like to bring this up. And so, now that we got that warm up out of the way, let's get into the core gameplay issues, and unfortunately, a lot of them have to do with custom venues and getaways, which of course is the core feature of this pack. The first of the core issues is about Kids Camp Getaways. Kids Camp Getaways automatically end before even starting. I downloaded Adventure Awaits and I have this issue of kid camps specifically. Fitness retreats work fine, but as soon as my sim arrives at the kids camp, it comes up with your getaway is ending. Do you want to extend it or go home? If I press extend, it just goes straight back up again. Now, of course, there are some suggestions. They're pretty basic. Closing out your game, renaming your documents folder, repairing your game, restarting, and trying on a new save file. Brings me to our next bug, which is custom venues not saving roles or schedule. I'm trying to build and set up a custom venue, but every time I leave build mode, the schedule has reset. Even though I save the custom venue schedule and roles to it, it basically resets every single time. And simmers are not happy about this, understandably so. After building a custom lot, my custom schedule preset it completely. When I'm on a custom getaway lot and change my sim's appearance using a mirror lot, once the loading screen finishes and gameplay resumes, some sims from the campfire are reset to the front of the lot. The same issue occurs if my sim travels to another lot and then returns to the custom lot. I tested this behavior on a regular residential lot as well, but in that case, sims remain in their positions. This person first ran into the issue with their regular save. Now they did have mods installed, but to confirm, they also tested it with a freshly generated Sims 4 folder, starting a brand new save without any mods or custom content. This reminds me of a lot of other issues we've had in Sims 4, so this frankly does not surprise me. And of course, another core feature of Sims 4 Adventure Awaits is getaways, and there's the possibility of having reoccurring scheduled getaways. But for some people, this is simply not working. With the getaway system, there's an option to mark a getaway as reoccurring. However, the feature does not work. When I select a recurring option, the getaway does not repeat the following week. Instead, I have to manually re-add the getaway every single time. As I mentioned in my past review, unfortunately, cooking challenges are messy. Apparently, there's other issues with cooking too. So at the camp director is only serving one plate at a time when there's 8 kids on the lot. To clarify, when it's breakfast, he only makes one plate when hoovered over the plate. It said 12 servings left, so I'm confused how there's servings left when he only makes one plate of food. Now honestly, this is really confusing. I have no idea what they're saying. I feel like food is like gardening in The Sims 4 where there's always things going wrong. We also have the classic problem of NPCs simply not doing their jobs. In this case, Adventure Awaits, barista roles don't show up on custom venues. Basically, they only do the main activity, they don't do the role they're supposed to. This also does not surprise me whatsoever. The competition between the main activities and the individual roles is a problem. English Simmer also noted this in her own reviews, where Sims tended to do just one thing, and sometimes Sims will ignore the roles they've been assigned to do the main activity. For instance, if you're at a pool, it's likely all your Sims could be just swimming instead of doing other other things. But unfortunately, it's not just getaways and venues that are a problem. For formative moments, they cannot completely be a good student. I have all packs, including the new pack. Both of my child sims got the Be a Good Student. One challenge was to get a B or A in school. First sim was already an A student when I took the challenge, but it never works, even though several school days have had them pass as an A student. Their second sim got the challenge before meeting the requirement, but it still did not work when he was a B student. This person also confirms I saw the same issue, no mods whatsoever. Bottle feeding a horse does not count towards the formative moment of feeding an animal. Now here again, it seems like horses are just a problem. It seems to me they just didn't add that integration whatsoever. I'm reporting my imaginary friend just disappeared. I left the lot with my adult sim as well as my child sim and went to school, and now it's completely gone. All archery competitions, no matter if on a getaway or community lot, work for a time but just don't complete. Just before it ends, the sims just lose their task and walk away. They test it with all mods and CC removed. And this again does not surprise me because other simmers noticed this too while they tested early access. And unfortunately, the painting activity is not working on custom venues. I just created a custom venue with art activities such as painting, woodworking, and flower arranging. No one is doing the painting activity at all. If it's a sim from the active household, I can force them to do it, but no one does it automatically. Same here, I've been testing this place I made for hours trying to work, and it's just not working. I have absolutely no one painting. I know they can get easels no problem because I tested them all out. I tried using the game's creative retreat preset, and maybe a couple sims will. The rest just go to the poll. To me, it sounds like the autonomy is off, where sims are prioritizing a specific activity. This is one worry I had with this pack and packs like it in general, that sims autonomy just isn't strong enough. There's a lot of issues beyond this pack on what sims prioritize. And if you're worn out by all those issues, unfortunately you also might not be able to relax by a campfire. Campfire interactions are grayed out. When my sim lights the campfire, he can neither grill nor add a piece of wood nor put the fire out. The next few have to do with gigs, careers, and holidays. This is just a tiny one. When asking the plum bird's job, this is the text that appears. Instead of anything else, poor girl has a job as a descriptor for Windows. I do have mods installed. So honestly, this one I wouldn't be too worried about. They have mods installed. It could just be a strange little error. However, one that is actively being troubleshooted is a kid going to school on a holiday despite time off chat. I have a holiday set with the box checked off for time off work in school. So today, this is ignored and kids went off to school even without notice. Currently, mods are disabled and I can provide save files if necessary. There's also the issue of career rewards lacking a price or value. None of the career unlock items for adventure weights have prices set for them. They did also say they removed and tested in a new save without mods or CC. This supposedly impacts the Ranger's Steam archery target, a helping hand paper mache, as well as the Sky Piercer. Unfortunately, even though the world is scenic, it is not without visual glitches. For example, glowing worms are missing. Two of the Gibby Point quests have an objective to touch a glowworm at the Electric Lagoon. Going to the lagoon at night, there is no glowworm to touch. I clicked around to see if they were invisible, no luck. I also tried a new save in summer and no luck. People are noticing weird shadows and other discoloration when there is snow in particular. Again, I have no idea why this is happening, but it is still something that needs to be fixed. And while kayaking does look fun in this new pack, it also can get pretty messy. For some people, when you place kayaks in water, they appear they are filling up with water. This is a look at what it looks like. Again, keep in mind these are early bug reports, and when we have early bug reports, the less information I have. Because of that, if you do suffer any of these bugs, please upload them. I know it's really annoying, but that is the best way we can to get things fixed. Of course, there's always going to be some clipping and weird things going on. Some people are noticing that both moths and butterflies, especially the display, has some clipping issues. I'll be honest, I barely see what they're saying, but I believe them. I just don't tend to pay attention to details as close as that. However, this is one thing I probably would notice. Forest Ranger Tower is also disappearing when viewed from a distance. The Forest Ranger Tower is a rendering issue. At medium distance, the tower disappears completely, leaving parts of its structure and attached objects floating in mid-air. I will admit, when it doesn't look right, it looks absolutely fantastical. Correct, it makes me think of a fantasy world where you could live up in the sky. I know I'm probably just losing my mind, but that's pretty interesting. Now thank goodness, we're finally in the home stretch. Keep in mind, these are not all the bugs in Adventure Waits, these are just the ones I found in the bug forums, and I'm sure there's probably gonna be even more. But for CAS and BB, unfortunately, we have some problems too. When kids change into swimwear outfits, they all have a red hearing aid on the left ear when editing the outfit in CAS. When a sim wears the new socks from Adventure Waits, there is a floating snippet of the texture that sticks from their body when they sit down. Lipstick is changing color. It appears in CAS and the lipstick has been altered when the sim takes selfies, but in live mode, it looks the original swatch without opacity or changes. People are also having issues with bracelet compatibility. Bracelets are not showing up with the specific shirt from the Adventure Waits. It almost seems like the game thinks the short sleeve top has long sleeves. These two braided hairs for children from Adventure Waits show glitches. For the first hair shown, the glitch is above both ears, and the second hair shown is in the forehead. It happens in CAS and live mode. And this right here, of course, is the second hair. Again, I'm not gonna lie, I probably would not notice this. It's very tiny to me, but I'm not saying it shouldn't be addressed. When I give my child sim the new skirt from Adventure Waits, it adds a strange texture to my sim's legs. And you can see this right here. It's very tiny, you might not be able to see it in my video, but basically it adds these small wrinkles just below the knee. And finally, last but not least, some people are having trouble bulldozing individual parts of the modular playgrounds. Not sure if it's a bug or intentional, but I hope it's a bug. After building a modular playground, I want to change and replace a part and delete that part, but everything gets deleted, at least huge chunks depending on where I placed it. This again, I could see this being a genuine bug, just one of those things. I do hope it gets fixed, but all in all, I will admit I expected bugs in this pack because of the nature of the pack, from the extensive systems, and of course, just all the problems Sims 4 already has. As always, take care, and I'll see you in the next video.